Let's get straight to it, though. The Texans enter Baltimore as 9.5-point underdogs this weekend. This will be the second meeting this year between the teams. Baltimore won week 1 25-9. What's the keys to this game and getting out with a victory and hosting the AFC title game next Sunday?
Oh, man.
It's not gonna be easy. I mean, you can't. It ain't gonna be no cakewalk. They proven to be, watching over the course of the season, watching the film, this week. They well coached. They solid defensively. They knock on, the mistakes they've been making early in the season, maybe weeks 1 through 5, with a rookie coach, rookie QB. They no longer making those mistakes going down the stretch. The main key is you got to get pressure on Stroud. You can't let him sit back there and eat you alive. I think the week 1, that was a long time ago, but the Ravens, week 1, they did a good job getting pressure on week 1. You can see last week the Browns, Myles Garrett was ineffective. I don't think they sacked C.J. Stroud last week. And you saw what happened to him. So that's my main key. You have to get pressure. You got to make him uncomfortable. Like I said, playing at home, we all know is way different than playing on the road. And then the weather conditions, here, snowing all night. It's going to be, freezing cold tomorrow with the wind chills. You got to get after him, man. That's really what I'm looking forward to. You have to put pressure on him. You have to get him off his spot. He's still a rookie quarterback. Granted, he's already going to playoff game. He's still a rookie quarterback coming on his role for his first playoff game. It should be different. Regardless of the weather, the fans should be out there. And I think, defensively, the Ravens have proven all year long that, they can get things done. Offensively, you just got, I think after that first quarter, we are going to see some rust. They ain't play in, how many other weeks. You are going to see some rust. So I think they just got to stay intact that first quarter. Can't get behind early. Can't get down 10-0, 13-0, 14-0. Because the offense is going to wake up. They too talented offense out of the ball. The scheme has been working all year. But I think the Ravens are ready. For what I'm hearing, reading all the reports, I think they're ready. I think they're going to come out ready to go. It's just like I said, at the end of the day, Houston is still a 7-loss team. Regardless of, what they hear now, they plan better, they still are a 7-loss team. Like you are the better team. There's a reason why you're a 9.5 favorite at home. You should win the game. You take care of business, and you got an AFC Championship game at home, and that's why you got the number 1 seed. You win this game. You do what you gotta do. You take care of a Houston team that you are better than. You playing at home for the right to go to the Super Bowl, and that's all you can really ask for. So I think the Ravens will win this game. I think after that first drive, second drive, knock off that rust, they're gonna turn it up a little bit.
I hope so. You know what I mean? Because I agree with you. You were spitting keys. The only scary part is these were the sentiments that I had going into 2019 versus the Titans. It's an AFC South team coming in with a myriad of losses. You feel like we're clearly the better team. And, any given Saturday or Sunday, those thoughts really don't matter. It depends on who's going to show up for those 60 minutes. And who's going to be more prepared, who's going to commit less turnovers, and who's just going to execute more. The difference I see in this team versus the 2019 team is just a more mature team. The failures, the pain, the pressure, that was things that they didn't experience prior to 2019. And ever since 2019, we've had to experience all those things with the failures, the injuries, the feeling like you left meat on the bone, food on the plate. I just think that this year we're more seasoned, we're more hungry, we're more determined. And that's hopefully the team we're going to see come tomorrow. It's not going to be easy, though. C.J. Stroud probably going to be the offensive rookie of the year. You have D'Amico Ryans, who's instilled a winning culture. They're believing, they're flying around the football, even with all the injuries they've been facing. They're explosive on offense. It's going to be challenging. I think the weather will play in our favor a bit. It might take the air out the ball a little bit, discourage both teams really from throwing the football as much. You have freezing temperatures, snow, in those type of instances, you see the run game used more, just more as in a general sense, but we're equipped to win that type of game. We're equipped to win in a shootout too. If you want to air it out, we're equipped to do that. Pick your poison, Houston. It don't matter how you want it, you can get it. I do think the Ravens are going to experience some rust. that was a fear of mine. But at the same token, I think the leaders are locked in. I think the leaders are going to make sure that, whether it's Lamar, whether it's Roquan on the other side, I think they are going to make sure the troops are ready to go and everybody understands the moment. As far as my prediction, I do think the Ravens big. I don't know if they cover a 9.5 spread. I think the over and under is 43.5 points. I'm not sure if we reach that point total, but we possibly can. In a normal playoff setting, I would think this game goes over that. It's just the cold weather kind of discourages me from thinking it's going to be that high scoring of a game. Maybe, 23-17, something like that, I'm thinking. But, Ronnie Stanley's going to have to show up. I think that's going to be a key matchup versus Jonathan Grenard. He would have like 12, 13 sacks this year. He's going to have to do his part, keep Lamar clean. I remember Bill Polian said this week that, the D linemen on the Texans, they shouldn't go after the sack. They should just play QB contain and make sure you keep Lamar in the pocket. And I want to tell any Houston Texans fan that may be watching, please, please, please have your team do that. I would love to.
Bill Polian is still talking out of turn. He's still talking.
Hey, you reach, we teach. If that's what he wants to do, fine. Like Lamar's been throwing from the pocket.
He ain't watched the season. I guess he ain't watched the Dolphin tape.
Hey man, if you don't want to put pressure on Lamar, because the only thing stopping Lamar is injury. Last time we saw Lamar get injured, he got injured on a three-man rush with 6 blockers. Right?
Yep.
That was the last time versus Denver. We saw him get hurt. If you don't want to see him, if you want to see him carve you up, go ahead and don't try to apply pressure on him. That's going to work right in our hands. And I honestly feel like we have enough, even without Marlon being out, even with Mark Andrews being out. I can't speak enough about Isaiah Likely. I didn't see this out of him this second half of the season, but quiet as kept, he went on a tear. That kid went on a tear. So I'm more than comfortable waiting until Mark is 120% healthy before we put him back out on that field, because our offense had chemistry with Likely. Our offense got way more consistent. We started spreading the ball way more with Likely on the field when Lamar didn't have that safety valve. And Likely has performed so well, he's kind of become the safety valve. So I think we'll have more than enough there. And then Brandon Stevens on Nico Collins, that's going to be an interesting matchup. I think Brandon Stevens is up to it. I think the defense is up to it. As long as we get pressure on Stroud, I feel like we'll have an opportunity to limit their explosive team, man. Stroud is he's generational. So we're going to have to touch him. We're going to have to touch him up. But I definitely think the Ravens win. I hope the Ravens win. And, I'm looking forward to continued conversations as we try to go on this journey.
Definitely. You both alluded to CJ Stroud. Let's hear what defensive coordinator Mike McDonald had to say about him this week.
Well, we were really impressed with the first game too. We knew going into the game that, if you remember me talking about it back then, was you didn't feel like you were going against a rookie at that point. So I think you're just seeing the natural progression of over the course of the season, just being more comfortable within the system. You can tell the system's growing around him, and they've evolved as we have as well. So I think that's what you're seeing. But definitely a lot of respect for what they're doing and how he operates.
Yeah, so Keys alluded to the pressures. That's kind of where I was going to go. The Ravens sacked Stroud 5 times and pressured him 27 times in week 1. That was the most pressure CJ Stroud saw all season. So you got to get to him. Like Nick just alluded to, you got to put hands on him. Another stat, on 3 occasions this season, Stroud was pressured at least 20 times. In all 3 of those games, they lost. So that's essentially the key to this game. You have to get to him. You have to make him uncomfortable. You have to give him some looks he hasn't seen. And that's what that is going to be. I've been calling out Mike McDonald the matchups. Hey, you first McVay, first to McDaniels. But now you got a rookie out there. You got to treat him like a rookie in a playoff game. You got to show him some things he's never seen, and that's essentially what I'm looking for. You got to get pressure. The first time since 2006, that the Ravens had 3 players with over at least 9 sacks. So you getting pressure, you getting it from the interior, you getting it from the outside. So that's the key tomorrow defensively. Can you get pressure?
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm looking for out of all the keys to the game, the receivers, Lamar staying clean, Lamar staying healthy. I'm just looking at Clowney, you earn them incentives, please. Van Noy, keep playing the way you playing. Matabuke, you do full contract. That bring the blitz. I was watching the film, Arthur Millette, but he was getting home. I think the key here is them slot cornerback blitzes. You run those or whatever. CJ Stroud, like I said, at the beginning of the year, he wasn't picking those up. Lately, they stopped doing it, but I think that's the key. I think that's where his weakness at is reading that blitz. And they don't have Tank Dell. I think that's a big miss for them. I think Tank Dell, as much as Nico Collins was their deep threat, I think Tank Dell was a safety valve. So you said Brandon Stevens. I think he'll be okay with Nico Collins. Nico Collins, he's a good receiver. He's gonna get his numbers. You just gotta expect him to get his numbers. If they're gonna force feed him the ball, he's gonna get his numbers. But where I look at it, you gotta take away the intermediate. You gotta take away the Dalton Schultz. You gotta take away the intermediate. Keep him in 3rd and long. Keep him in 3rd and 6. Keep him in 3rd and 7. Limit the run. The Ravens' run defense ain't been good all year. We know that. But now is the time you got to be better. You got to be better than what you were. But yeah, like I said, I just think the Ravens are better team. It's not a lot of games this year where I came in thinking that the Ravens, weren't the better team. But I just think they are a better team. I think Houston, they deserve to be here. They definitely deserve to be here. But I think they might be a year too early right now.
And you mentioned those wide receivers. It's important to remember that Noah Brown got injured last week too. One of their receivers sustained season. Yeah, but I mean that's somebody they respond to. But over the last 6 to 8 weeks, 40% of that offense from a passing standpoint has been Nico Collins. So if you can zero in on him and contain Dalton Schultz, like he's just alluded to, it looks good.
Yeah, so listen, the Texans have allowed 60 completions of 20 yards or more, which is 7th worst in the NFL. I think we'll have our opportunities to exploit that. I think playoff Odell, John. I think Keith has something on that later, but John has alluded to it. He's probably the most healthiest he is been all season now. So I'm looking forward to that. Okay.
Yeah, let's say Odell at this.
It's been a long 2.5 years. So kind of all boils down to this. You only have 4 or 5 days guaranteed left. Everything else you earn after that. Everything else after that you've earned. And I don't think anybody in this building takes it lightly. Such a long journey, and you're getting towards the end. It's like you might as well reap the benefits of all the hard work you put in. So we're all fighting for the opportunity to earn the opportunity to be able to practice again for another week. And it starts with beating a very good team in the Houston Texans. They've got everything rolling and clicking. It's not going to be an easy task, but I think this team is up for the challenge.
You talked about Andrew.
Yeah, so John in a different video, he kind of alluded to he's rehab for 2 years. He's gone through his challenges this year, but he's looked excellent in practice. He looks really good physically. So I think this is his moment as far as on 3rd downs and key situations when Lamar needs to trust somebody. You're going to have him available. You're going to have Zay. You're going to have Likely, and I think we'll be able to do enough there. Houston's defense, as far as like the coverages and the schemes that they primarily run, they've run a variation of cover 3 or cover 4 on 53% of their snaps, which is 4th highest in the league. Lamar has a 73.5 passer rating versus cover 3, which is average, but he has a league best 92.8 passer rating versus cover 4. So we've seen the Houston Texans defense. They have some good players on that side of the ball, stout front, but those corners can be had. I think that's going to be something to look forward to. And one thing as far as something on the Texans side that we can look to, they're 7-3 this year versus teams with a winning record, right? So they aren't just going to lay down. And honestly, Stroud plays his best against the better teams. He's averaged in those 10 games, he's averaged over 300 yards passing while throwing 21 touchdowns compared to 2 interceptions. So again, a generational player. What do elite hymns do? They raise their level of play versus better competition. He's in that category. It just sucks that it has to be him. I really like the kid, but if it's him, if it's us, or if it's them, who I'm picking, bro.
Yeah, and he's going to see a Lamar Jackson who's very confident going into this matchup.
4 previous playoff games, the offense didn't score more than 20 points.
how much more confident do you feel that this year's offense has the ability to put up the points you need to win in the playoffs?
I'm very confident. Very, very confident. Extremely confident. Just keeping my mind focused on the assignment, not letting anything enter my mind, that'll mess up my thoughts for the game and stuff like that. And it's great. It's been great.
Yeah, this team seems a lot more relaxed than the team in 2019. A lot more mature. And you can kind of see it going into this week with the preparation. All hands on deck tomorrow.
One more thing. The Ravens use play action 26% of their plays, which is 7th highest in the league, and the Texans were dead last versus play action.
My last point, right. My last point is this is the same defense that Amari Cooper just had almost 200 yards receiving, on a couple before he got hurt the last game, but the game before that, in the regular season, he did have 280 something yards receiving against them. So like you said, the secondary, they can be took. And I think we finally got the weapons to do it. I'm not, like I said, it's gonna be tough tasks. They're not gonna lay down. It's divisional play. Anything happens to it. It's divisional round of playoffs, but I'm not really. They should get the job done. They should get the match. Yeah, I'm not overlooking anything.
Well, I've been stressing, Keys. I've been stressing.
Listen. I feel like if I wasn't, because it's a different level, but I feel like if I wasn't stressing against the Dolphins 49ers, I'm not about to stress against the Texans game at home. It's like they just gotta get the job done. Now, Mahomes or Josh Allen, if they win this coming home next week, then we have a different conversation.
Next week.
Right, we have a different conversation.
Yeah, for sure, man. So be sure to check that out tomorrow, 4:30 p.m. Texans Ravens.